Like we have the All-Star game, and one of my concerns now is that the Phillies are in first place, and I really don't want my don't want these guys, my guys playing. They need to rest. And when I was growing up as a kid, I used to get excited to see the guys representing during the starting lineups tipping their cap. Now it's like, stay home, don't get that back heel, don't use that arm anymore than you need to. How we change our perspective?
Oh, I think you illustrated it right there. I think the way this game is perceived by the public is just there's a huge change from when we were kids, and you know, if you're a Phillies fan, you really don't you hope that Roy Halladay has a couple of real short, quick innings tonight where he doesn't have to throw a lot of pitches, and you never thought about that before. You never thought about is it going to be a problem if Steve Carlton goes 3 innings in the All-Star game? Can you imagine even thinking that back then? A non-issue, and everything has changed, and the perception of the All-Star game has changed. But I do think that people are disappointed when a ball player makes not so much a pitcher, but a position player makes the All-Star game and just doesn't go because he doesn't want to go.
Right.
And you know, Derek Jeter is not going to be there tonight. He's citing exhaustion. I mean, everybody's exhausted. I guess I'm assuming, you know, the media frenzy about the 3,000 hits is what he's referring. I don't buy that, and especially if, as is the case with many major league players, they have a clause in their contract where they're selected to the All-Star game. They get a bonus. They get a substantial amount of money. If that money isn't contingent on you showing up at the game, that's pretty frustrating and pretty annoying from the point of view of a fan or anybody who just cares about the game.
I don't know how any baseball player who's played about 80-some games now is not exhausted, okay?
Yeah.
So I don't buy that one with Derek Jeter. And yeah, because of what he just accomplished, the first Yankee to have 3,000 hits, he needs to be there. A bulging disc for Polanco, I don't need him making that flight. So I would rather he stayed somewhere in traction for a while. Rest up, my friend. The last several months he's been struggling. I think 217 batting average ever since the very beginning of May. So, but again, he wants to make that trip. That tells you a lot. But what really is frustrating, it used to be an exhibition, you'd have the best players, and then they sort of, as players sort of got out of it because of exhaustion reasons, they changed the rules to make it now the game means something. And you know what? I think it really helped the Giants that the National League won last year. The game having that bearing that the winning team gets to have their league host or have the extra game in the World Series plays a huge factor.
And I think that's a good idea. I have no problem with that at all. I mean, I don't know why people have a problem with that. I don't see a downside to that. They were looking for some reason to make have some incentive in the All-Star game, and they found this little carrot to throw out there. And everybody says, well, why don't they just have the team with the best record, best overall record host the World Series, or have home field in the whole world? Well, they didn't have that before. That rule didn't exist before. Right. What are you talking about? I mean, I don't see what the problem is with that. But the All-Star game, I hate when I find myself as I get older, Starkey, saying, "Well, things aren't what they used to be." Well, back in my day, I don't want to hear that coming out of my mouth. But I think in this particular case, it's kind of legitimate. The All-Star game, it ain't what it used to be.